So this game's been out for quite a while, I believe, but today I'm going to be giving it a go myself. As far as I know, mixed feedback, but we're gonna form our own opinions on this channel. And I'm pressing it. Oh, I'm playing this on Xbox. Reveal. I'm doxed. I'm leaked. Enabled. Large captions. Enabled. Right. Headphones. 5.1 speakers? I've probably got cheap earbuds in. Should we go with 2 speakers? That's the default. Well, maybe that would be better for you. Lot. I'm gonna put. What am I doing? Wait. Inverted. No, I'm not. I'm not weird. I'm not weird. Just because when I look up, I actually want to look down doesn't make me weird. Right. Start the game. Should have put director's commentary on. Apparently this game's like 2 hours long. So we're just gonna sit through the whole thing, I reckon. I don't know. Maybe not, but we'll see how far we get. This is a filler video because, like, yeah, I've not been uploading. Okay, I'll show up.
After I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly, and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Okay, I didn't realize we could walk around there. Oh, it's Jack. Oh my goodness! Someone took a big poop in the sink as well. Crikey. 2 sinks. In the same room. Okay. LT to zoom. Can I run? A is also to zoom, X is also to zoom, B is also to zoom, every button is to zoom. Except for the D-pad, which is to move around. Should I just move around only using the D-pad? Which path should I take? Should I go up or around? Come on, pick up the pace. Wait, if I go that way, I don't know. Oh. Oh, just about. Just about.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who saw...
Let me just change something real quick, because I swear there's like a huge echo in this guy's voice. Maybe it's just my settings or something. Let's go down to 2 speakers.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit.
That's really weird.
A man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse.
No! Ow! Ow! I broke my leg.
He must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later.
116 years?
For him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claim to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
So this dude's pretty old then.
When you were born, your mother told me, a hush fell over the delivery room. A great red
Is this my dad?
covered the left side of your face. No
Where
one
have
knew
you
what
been?
to say, so you cried to fill the vacuum.
I'm sorry.
I always admired you for that, that you cried to fill whatever vacuum you found. I began to manufacture vacuums just to enable you to deploy your talent.
It's
The birthmark
Dyson
faded by the time you were 6 and had gone completely
manufacturing
by the time we met,
vacuums.
but your fascination with the empty and its cure remained.
Oh, that was a Super Smash Bros. Logo then.
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out
Yogurt.
to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
Haha, good one. I'm so sorry. Why is there a car door up here? Where do I go? Did someone really crash their car down there? I have to like swim around. Wow. You actually do have to swim. Either that or I'm going completely the wrong way. Oh, we went underwater. Did I die? What's going on?
Come back.
Oh, I reached a checkpoint. I must have died. I didn't even know you could die in this game. I just couldn't achieve. I drowned. I was drowned. Where do I go then? Because I can't jump or anything. Unless I do swim around. I can't like step up this rock. I just need to stay above the water, I think. Like keep looking up. Oh. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, no, you just go automatically down. What I was saying earlier was, obviously I've not uploaded properly in a while, so I want to get back into the swing of things, you know what I mean? Because like I've got videos recorded, but it's just hard like editing them and getting a thumbnail. That's just so much effort. Taking a screenshot in a video game, that's hard work that is for me. So a game like this, I could just be chill, you know what I mean? I could just kind of sit through it. There must be another way then. Maybe I could go back where I came from. I mean, there's obviously a reason we can go over here though. There's no other places here, aside from back the way we came. I know usually how it goes in this kind of games is that like it's actually just me being really stupid, but like I genuinely don't think, you know, I can do this. I can't do this anymore. Wait. I'm on a rock. Kind of. I'm kind of stuck on it. There's like an invisible wall around here though. Like, this definitely doesn't lead anywhere. Just checking if there is a sprint button. There's not. There's not. I'm just gonna go back this way. I have exhausted my efforts. Where'd that staircase come from? Okay. This can't have been here before, surely. Unless this is actually just the other side of the thing. Oh. So we fell down over there, didn't we? Then we fell down here. I spent all that time. Like 5 minutes of my life. Just trying to do that.
A wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach, all the world as if you had signed your name in untidy handwriting.
Yeah. I want to find more games like this as well because, yeah, something that I can...
When someone had died or was dying,
Okay.
or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Spooky. Very mysterious. But anyway, what I was saying was,
I quote directly, a motley lot with
could have got this whole let's play
little to recommend.
of this dude just
I have
interrupting
spent
me.
3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture, they seem to me the most godforsaken of all the inhabitants of the Outer Isles. Indeed, in this case, the very gravity of that term, forsaken by God, seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in that, I wonder?
This guy uses words that are too big for me, I'm not gonna lie. What I was saying was... Okay, I've already forgotten. Oh. I want to find more games like this. Because, why? Because... when it comes to things like Minecraft and obviously these longer series kind of games, there's what you have to plan them. You know what I mean? And there's time that goes into it. And even though these videos are obviously a lot longer, I don't have to really think about it. I just get on it and play it. You know what I mean?
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We
Wolverhampton.
drank coffee in his kitchen
Bottom of
and
the
tried
league.
to connect to one another.
Rubbish.
Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
Okay.
I would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I'd run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be
What
drowned
is that?
by the chatter of the sea creatures.
What's that supposed to be? What's that thing again? Is this guy gonna keep talking? Okay. The reason why these kind of videos are beneficial is because recently I have been incredibly busy, and like I'd never promote it on here or anything, but I'm making an album, and it comes out in, I don't know, by the time you're watching this, like 3 weeks, right? Something like that. In 3 weeks it comes out. So there's a big time crunch for me, and I've got to spend as much time as possible, you know, getting it right and getting it out. If anyone's like interested in that, probably not, but like, you know, I'll probably make another video closer to it being out. Okay, I can't come back this way, I don't think, because this is too steep. But yeah, there's also other stuff I've got going on, like I'm working and stuff like that. This is actually the first bit of time off I've had in a while. Okay, I can't go back that way, so where do I go? Any staircase that I've missed again? It looks like there's a path there. I'm drinking Pepsi, by the way, not Dr. Pepper, I know. It's bad. I mean, it's not bad, but like, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel right. Game is a cool atmosphere. There's another game that has an aesthetic, not exactly like this, but it's got that kind of, you know, British kind of.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation
yep.
being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish. The sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer. That we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
Destruction Spell Tome. And Adrian Danger, even though that book's like brown, right? I don't know. What's that one book that's The Night of Tears, that book in Skyrim. That is the same colour as that. I'm such a nerd. Even though it's a chemistry book, it's a chemistry book. I suppose chemistry in the Elder Scrolls is basically just magic anyway, so it's alchemy, you know? But yeah, what was that game that I was just going to mention? I can't remember the name of it now. Oh, I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't very good, but like, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but like, you know, I can't remember the name of it. It had a very similar atmosphere to this. Loading. Yeah, we completed the game. No, I'm joking.
I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter
Oh, and all
Bristol
that feels.
21 times.
Why would you do that?
But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome break services. But although I can always see it in my rearview mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Okay. There's an abandoned ship here. Do I go down to it or do I go that way? I believe there's 5 chapters, so, you know. Or maybe there's 6, I can't remember. The music's pretty cool.
All night the boy has kept me lucid. I sat when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island. I sat at the edge and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He's mute and he's retarded.
Whoa!
And he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf-mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
Can't be saying that, mate. I didn't know that was in the dialogue. Probably like have to bleep that out. I can't understand what that says at all. I have no idea what that says. I know it's words, but you know, I don't understand them. Okay, can't keep going this way. I mean, this dude was always kind of creepy talking about using human remains for fertilizer, but now he's dropping slurs on us. I don't know about that, mate. Maybe I'm just missing something in the story, but like, you know, usually saying that kind of thing is not that great. Lovely. Abandoned cargo ship. Great. Graphically, it does remind me a little bit of Metal Garden, but... Definitely like Metal Garden a lot more than this so far. At least, I do like walking simulators, and I don't mind necessarily games where you don't actually do anything except walk, but I don't know. There's something about Metal Gardens, like, that was just so good. Maybe it was just like the core concepts in general was just something I was a lot more interested in. Whereas, like, I've gone into this, like, completely blind. I don't even know, even still, I don't know what this game's about.
I had kidney stones, and you visited me.
It's just
in the
we're talking about random stuff. I had kidney stones as well.
Submerged in anesthetic. Your outline and your speech both blurred.
Talking about driving down the
Now
M5.
my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Someone get hit by a drunk driver? Is this the way I came in, or was it the other way? I feel like I've just gone in a massive circle. I hope not. There's another house. No, we haven't been there yet, obviously. It's different.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
I have no idea what this dude's talking about, man. His voice does remind me of the dude from Stanley Parable, though. I don't think it's the same voice actor, but it does sound like a bit like him. I can't remember his name now. What guy's name? He's the GOAT, man. He's the GOAT.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Okay. This might be one of those games where I have to watch a YouTube video that explains the story to me. Because I have no idea what's going on. Is this the house that's in the game icon? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know.
My heart is landfill. These false dawns waking into the still never light. I sweat for you in the small hours and wrap my blankets into a mass. I have always heard the waves break on these lost shores, always the gulls forgotten. I can lift this bottle to my ear, and all there ever is for me is this Hebridean music.
Okay. I can go down that way. Or I can go up. I'm pretty sure around there. Oh no, never mind. No. I was actually going to say there's that massive pylon over there. I reckon that's our beacon to head towards. It's like the only modern thing we can see in this game. Geronimo! No, I'm not joking. I'm not going to do that. You move slowly enough in this game as it is. I don't want to be killing myself to have to keep walking back.
Jacobson's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of
Why
some
they talking about his
birth defect
ribcage?
or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
Lovely.
They found Jacobson in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon.
Lovely.
Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot. But he is proving an unreliable witness. Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg.
I slipped and fell and injured my leg.
It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is
talking about
crashing in on waves.
random things.
It tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones.
There was another path around there as well, but I think I'll go this way.
But it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted
A
from
light
the trawler
candle?
suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Yay! The real reason I want to play this game is for an easy 1000 gamer score.
Did Jacobson crawl this far? Can I identify the scratches his nails ruined into the rocks? Am I following him cell for cell, inch for inch? Why did he turn back on himself and not carry through to the ascent?
Just couldn't stay away from Minecraft. I'm in my cave. Whoa.
It was as if someone had taken the car and shaken it like a cocktail. The glove compartment had been opened and emptied with the ashtrays on the boot. It made for a crumpled museum, a shattered exhibition.
Okay, nothing here aside from those markings, so I guess we head back. There was another path, I think, that we could go. Yeah. Wait, which way did I come from? That? I think I came from that way. Yeah, because it was just, yeah. Whoa. That's a pretty cool visual. Okay, so we can actually swim. Reminds me a little bit of in the Forgotten Vale in Skyrim. I know that I've already referenced Skyrim twice in this game, but like when there's a waterfall that you can jump down, it leads you in this cave with like a bunch of like blue lights and stuff. Yeah. And obviously this is very like, you know, fantasy-esque, like Black Ridge and a lot of Morrowind caves and stuff.
I am traveling through my own body, following
This kind of bridge here as well is so Oblivion coded.
The heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
I can go down there. I can also go up here, so I'm gonna go up it. These are like atomic structures things, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea, but why are they down in here? I don't know. Oh. It's probably gonna really hurt my feet. Oh, I actually can't go that way. That's a cool looking kind of tunnel though.
When I was coming round from the operation, I remember the light they shone in my eyes to check for pupil contraction. It was like staring up at a moonlit sky.
Oh, that's scary. I'll just keep going down.
People moved at the summit, but I could not tell if you were one of them.
What does that say? No idea what that says. Whoa. Didn't even see this. Is this going to be one of those games where I look like a complete idiot at the end of it for just not understanding what's going on at all? Because I really just have no clue. Away from something. And shall be a, I don't know. Swimming. Oh, we've got to go underwater. This is very Skyrim. And Oblivion. There's a lot of this in Oblivion. I don't know why when I think of like caves, I just think of Skyrim. Especially if it has like this blue hue and lots of mushrooms and stuff, because... Whoa! I honestly didn't know I was supposed to fall down there. Maybe I wasn't, maybe I just died. Yeah, this is definitely a different place. We're on the motorway. And the car crashed. Do you think the car door and the tires we found earlier was like symbolism for the car crashing? Open the door. I want to drive. Whoa. It pushed me down. That was so weird. Oh. My posture's horrible. Finish the caves. We're out. But which way do we go? Going right. Hey!
I wish I could have known Donnelly in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in a hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken
Chill
island
out.
in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight?
This dude's crashing out over nothing.
I returned home with a pocket full of stolen ash. Half of it fell out of my coat and vanished into the car's upholstery. But the rest I carefully stowed away in a box I kept in a drawer by the side of my bed. It was never intended as a meaningful act, but over the years it became a kind of talisman. I'd sit still, quite still for hours, just holding the diminishing powder in my palm and noting its smoothness. In time, we will all be worn down into granules, washed into the sea and dispersed.
So some kind of car crash happened, and this is maybe our life flashing before our eyes, something like that. Now we're seeing like pictures of the car crash and like even like a surgical thing up there. The song is a banger. Okay, that's what we came up. Just completely loop back around. You can't actually go this way. Did I miss something in there? I don't know. It's eerily quiet now. Even this dude's like not talking because of, well, I guess I'm not making any progress. They have to make those slow walk back over there. I think I know where I can go actually, because we came down from there, right? We can actually keep going that way, I'm pretty sure. Yep. A picture frame of someone. Yep. Why stop making those noises?
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity. From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the
21
Atlantic,
guns.
and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. Okay. Those massive scratches. Look at that path as well, leading all the way up to the light. I did say the thing, the radio tower, whatever it is, that's going to be our beacon, our final destination. I don't know how long is left on this game, but like obviously I said earlier, I think, that the game's like an hour and a half long, but maybe I'll complete it quicker than this. It feels like I'm getting towards the end.
I will drag my leg behind me. I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers, and am following the flicker of the moon home. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
Oh.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it.
Fly
I've
me.
been
Actually, I can't
folded
sing that. I'll
around
get
a creasing
copyrighted.
time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Come together. No, I can't sing that either. And he eat no.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was
3
his own shoreline,
days.
as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis.
Without sight.
Retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
He became his what? Well, the door's open.
Will weigh me down and ensure my descent is true and straight. I will break through the fog of these godforsaken pills and achieve clarity. All my functions are clogged, all my veins are choked. If my leg doesn't rot off before I reach the summit, it will be a miracle. There are 21 connections in the circuit diagram of the anti-lock brakes. There are 21 species of gull inhabiting these islands. It is 21 miles between the Sanford Junction and the turn-off for home. All these things cannot, will not be a coincidence.
And there's 21 pilots, and there's 21 guns, and there's 21 is 9 plus 10. And there's 21 Jump Street. I don't know. I don't know. Can't be a coincidence. I shouldn't mention this is obviously the Landmark edition, which I think is a remaster. I believe the original is actually quite an old game.
A gull perched on a spent bonnet, sideways, whilst the sirens fell through the middle distance and the metal moaned in grief about us. I'm about this night in walking, old bread and gull bones, old Donnelly at the bar gripping his drink, old Esther walking without her children, old
Esther.
Paul as ever, old Paul. He shakes and he shivers and he turns off his lights alone.
Why is bro so angry? We're very close now. Oh, I have no idea what that says. Came into. I hope I've got a nice thick coat on. It's well windy.
I've run out of places to climb. I will abandon this body and take to the air.
What do you mean abandon this body?
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate.
What?
Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Uh-oh. Dude, you're not a bird. What? Where are we going? We came all that way just to, well, do that. We're not falling very fast. I think we're in creative mode. Whee! I'm actually flying, what the heck? I'm not controlling this, by the way. the little paper boat you were just talking about.
Come back.
Come back. Is that the end of yeah? That was the end of the game. Okay.